Everybody, it's Deanna Lay. I am here today with another IKAGG interview. Today, I am interviewing the amazing John Roser. He is the owner of North Sky Agency, and I am so excited not only to get to hear from the man himself on why he loves doing what he does, but I cannot wait for you all to experience the greatness that he has to share as well. So, John, welcome to the IKAGG interview.
Well, thank you for having me, Deanna. I appreciate it. That is quite an intro right there. I feel like now I need a little pressure to live up to it, hopefully.
Oh,
Yeah.
you'll be fine. I hear you're a rock star, and I a little birdie told me that you're pretty spectacular. So if she told me, then I know it must be true.
Well, I'll have to let the bird know that the check is in the mail. So I appreciate that.
There you go. There you go. Okay, so
Yeah.
North Sky Agency,
Mhm.
tell everybody about what it is that you do and why you're so passionate about it.
Sure. Well, so I started this to really get other insurance advisors connected with more of the ideal clients or prospects that they want to get in front of. That's the main core of what we do. And also, we want to help them to write more premium, write more business, and do that through what I like to refer to as modern sales coaching,
Okay.
primarily because the consumer has changed over the years. And within the insurance industry, for the most part, it's been my experience that most insurance agents have not updated their approach and the way that they interact with the people that they want to serve. It's something that I noticed happening for throughout my entire career that I worked in the insurance and financial industry. So that was the main reason that I decided to start this to better serve colleagues and people that I cared about in the professional world. So.
So you're telling me that people that might have started in insurance sales 20 years ago maybe had not been updating their approach as the times change, and as we know, the world is changing very, very quickly, especially when it comes to how you market yourself and what consumers are looking for. What have you found is the biggest challenge with working in your space specifically?
Well, I think for the insurance advisors that I have known throughout the years, and I spent, let's see, it's been a little more than 16 years working as an independent insurance agent, and also worked in the financial industries as well. And
Nice.
it was very consistent that many of my colleagues were kind of stuck in an old-fashioned way of doing things, and it was really just too often I found that there was not a lot of motivation, or people weren't really willing to update and change things like technology and finding new and different ways to approach their prospective clients. And one of the biggest things that just kind of drove me nuts for years is the sales training that was being provided to new insurance agents. And so this lack of willingness to update with the times and to improve their techniques and the way that they handle those interactions, it really led to really kind of a sad statistic that over
Mm.
90% of insurance advisors fail within the first couple of years. So most people who get their insurance license don't make it, and I think
Oh, wow.
it's a shame for a lot of reasons, but primarily because there were plenty of good people who had the right intentions for getting
Mhm.
into that business or in this
Right.
industry. But they just didn't really receive the kind of help that they really needed in order to make it successful for themselves. So
Mm.
this is all my attempt to try to improve that and make a dent in that statistic, and hopefully help some people create a more successful career out of this pursuit.
Oh, wow. That's a startling statistic. Yeah, because people probably get
Yeah.
into the industry because they want to help, they want to help
Mhm.
people, but then helping people requires a sales aspect to it. Yes, you
Mhm.
want to be likable and you want to make sure you have great customer service, but at the end of the day, you do have to make sure that you are knowledgeable of your product, and then of course taking a sales approach that is effective not only for
Mhm.
how you are as a person but how the other person sitting across from you might receive it. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's I can see where your agency is for sure needed. So
Yeah.
as an insurance agent, if I were to hire you,
Mhm.
what would be some things that you could help me on? Let's just like go down maybe a laundry list of things that you enjoy doing when it comes to your work and how you work with people.
Sure. So, what I enjoy most is helping an insurance advisor get some real clarity on how the way that they want their insurance practice to look, having a real vision and a future for where they want their business to be. And I think that what happens more often than not is most insurance advisors get into the industry without any clue as to what type of coverage or what type of insurance they want to specialize in. And it's really
Okay.
even not so much about the product as it is about the specific problems that they want to solve
Mm,
and using those policies as tools to be able to help their client get the end result that they're looking for. And in helping someone shape their vision for their business, it really gives them the opportunity to narrow their focus and really develop themselves as a better professional, as a specialist. Because I think
yeah,
it's fair to say that the modern consumer really wants to work with somebody that is very specialized and an expert in that very specific corner of business, whatever it may be.
right.
So, in helping them craft that vision for where they want to go, I'm able to use our resources and our services to be able to help them hone in and focus their attention on a specific group of people.
Mm,
Mainly business owners is what we focus on, helping people generate leads that are considered business to business, if you will.
nice.
So we're able to help them very specifically target a group of business owners, whoever they may be. So if it's doctors, if it's electricians, if it's construction companies, whatever that industry vertical might be, we can really hone in on those folks and get that insurance advisor in front of more of those business owners they want to work with.
That's
But
fantastic.
then, yeah, oh, thank you. It's what we aim to do, at least. But
Yeah.
then ultimately, even with the best leads on the planet, you still have to have the right ability in sales and be able to handle that interaction the right way. And ultimately, it's handling it in a way that best serves the person across from you. You know, it's my feeling that sales is really nothing more than helping someone or guiding someone towards a decision that's
Mm,
in their best interest, that's best
right.
for them, and doing so in a way where you are taking them from their current state to where they really want to be, and you're doing that over a little bridge that's built on trust, right? This is a
Mm,
nice way I like to think of it. So
that's great. Yeah.
uh, yeah, updating their the way that they handle that interaction is just sorely needed in this industry because there's plenty of people doing it in ways that are not very effective, and I think ultimately that leads to the consumer having a very negative view of the industry in general.
Truth. Yep.
So it's
I can see that.
something that we aim to help in as big a way as we possibly can. So.
Oh wow. I mean, I'm not an insurance advisor, but if I was, I would hire you.
Well, I appreciate that.
I
And
think it's
hopefully
so
many others
important.
will feel the same.
Yeah, I think it's so important to come alongside, to have somebody come alongside you who knows your industry backwards and
Mhm.
forwards that isn't your boss or
Yeah.
isn't it someone, maybe who is higher up in the company that's telling you you need to
Mhm.
do it this way and
Mhm.
that doesn't align with who you are or what you're working towards. So
Yeah.
absolutely love the specialty that you have. So what do you love most about what you do and how you get to do it?
I think what I enjoy most is being able to see someone have one of those, and it might sound a little corny, but seeing somebody have one of those aha moments where
Oh, yeah.
something that's kind of been very, very difficult for them to overcome, understanding sales in a different way than most people look at it, and seeing them, have that moment of clarity that it's not as difficult as they thought it would be, and it's not the way that they've been taught, and immediately you can see someone's confidence begin to build, and
Mm,
giving someone the confidence to go out and be better at what they do, and then in turn the people who benefit the most are the clients that they're helping, because then they're able to build a trusting relationship with somebody that's going to help them take care of what are sometimes some very difficult things to to address. Things
Yeah.
like life insurance. Making a conversation like that comfortable is not an easy feat.
Right.
So when you can help someone build a level of confidence to overcome something that most people are just quite frankly terrible at,
Yeah.
that's a really gratifying feeling to have. And then to help someone sort of see a light at the end of the tunnel and
Mm.
have an idea that, hey, I think I can make a successful business out of this, and now I'm getting the one-on-one attention that I really needed in the coaching side of it, and I have a repeatable process and system that helps me build a business that I can depend on, and it's independent of anyone else. uh,
Mm.
that's really a nice thing to be able to do for somebody. Very gratifying to me, at least, to see somebody overcome, what most people can't. Obviously, what over 90% of people can't in that particular industry. So, yeah,
Wow,
it's
you're
really
gonna
nice.
single-handedly change that number, I have a feeling. So
I hope so. I aim to put at least some small dent in it and do my
yeah,
absolute best to. So, yeah.
that's awesome. So can you work with advisors all over the country? I know you're based out of Wilmington.
Mhm.
Can you do things like digitally over Zoom by chance, or do you like to stay local?
Well, no, yeah, absolutely. To answer your question, I certainly can. I can help people all over the country. I think that's one of the beautiful things about the platform that we're having this conversation on right now. With the
Right?
advent of Zoom and the internet, anything is possible. And now someone could start a business that could feasibly help people across the world. So I'm not quite there yet, helping people outside of the U.S., but I'm certainly not opposed to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can absolutely help anyone across the country, even locally. That's all good too. So,
Very cool. Very, very cool.
mhm,
So if you had advice for somebody just starting out in business, what
mhm.
what would you tell them? I always like these answers because I never know what somebody's going to say. So
Okay.
what would you say to somebody just starting out?
For just starting out in business in general, I would say the best thing I could say to someone else is simply embrace the overwhelm. Starting
Mhm.
any business is an absolutely overwhelming experience. You're trying to consume an avalanche of information and also make a ton of decisions and as quickly as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to get so swamped with all these pieces and parts of the puzzle that you have to take care of that oftentimes, as I'm sure you know, many people just give up on it, and go back to a 9 to 5, so to speak. And so I would really encourage somebody to embrace that overwhelm and know that when you feel overwhelmed, it's because things are happening. And
Yeah.
that's always a good thing. And you're not always going to make the right decision, but in making a decision, you're taking another step forward and probably doing what most people can't do, and that's got to make somebody feel good. At least I would think so. To
Oh,
make
for
sure
sure.
to know
Yeah.
that you're, incrementally moving the needle forward, so to speak. So,
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes is even imperfect progress is
mm,
still progress
that's right.
because people wait for that perfect, oh, it needs to be 100%. It needs to be
Yeah,
exactly right. And what
yeah,
they do is they find themselves just stuck in the muck. And my
hmm
thing is like, just take a little bitty step. Doesn't matter
hmm
if it's a caterpillar pace or, if you fly, it
that's
just,
right.
just move forward and
That's right.
before you know it, you'll get to
Yep,
where you want to go. So I love
absolutely.
that. So how about a book that you would recommend?
Mm.
I like to listen to books more than I like to read them personally. I have a ton
Yeah.
of books that I'll listen to first and then buy the hardback copy of. But if you're a reader or a listener to books like me, what is one that you might recommend to somebody?
Okay. It's hard and it's really difficult to choose just one because my
I'd
wife and
say
I
a
both are
couple.
avid.
We
Yeah.
have no rules here.
Okay, fine. I'll give you two then. I'll give you two. One that I thought was really beneficial is called Deep Work. And I
Oh,
believe the name, I believe the author is Cal Howard. I'd have to look it up. I know Cal was his first name. Deep Work, just fair warning here, it's a bit academic listening to it.
yes,
So it's kind of a tough listen. However, I think it's incredibly important because the world that we live in right now, there are so many things that are they're all fighting for your attention. It's your
right.
phone, it's your friends, it's your family members, it's your business, it's all sorts of things that are just fighting for your attention. And so the ability to intently focus on the task at hand, whatever it may be, that is a skill set and a muscle that I think many people need to build and build as quickly as possible. So that book was a really great bit of insight to understanding how we focus and how to increase our productivity and how to develop that skill set of being able to hone in on the task at hand and tune out everything else going on around you.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh
and
yeah,
then this
Cal Newport, I think it is,
Newport, sorry, yeah,
if I remember
perfect.
correctly. And the
That's
only reason I
exactly it.
know is because I took a productivity boot camp, and that
Mm,
was one of the books that was recommended.
yeah.
And the coach for that boot camp shared a lot about that book and how, the focus, either I think 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off, or 50
Hmm.
minutes on, 10 minutes
Yeah.
off. Where, I mean, we live in an age of distractions, not an
Yeah.
age of productivity. So
Yeah.
I agree with you that book, even though I haven't read it, I know enough about it to be dangerous. And it has indeed changed my way of approaching projects and productivity for sure, because I
Yeah.
can tell. I used to call myself the queen of multitasking. There's no such thing as multitasking, friends, because it takes like twice as long to get back to a task once you
Yeah.
back yourself from
And
it.
for any of those self-appointed multitaskers out there, I can tell you it's been proven that you're actually 20% less effective at each of
Yes.
those tasks individually when you're trying to do them at the same time. And so, as part of deep work, it talks about how incredibly focused intent on something for even just a couple hours a day is
Mhm.
significantly more productive than the multitasking style of trying to work and keep everything going at the same time for 6 to 8 hours, right? You get more work done in that short period of time that's incredibly focused. But one other book I do want to put out there, and it's a
Yeah.
pretty popular one now. I think a lot more people have heard of it, but it's Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Book, and that's absolutely incredible about negotiation.
Mhm.
And I'm sure I saw you nodding your head, you
Mhm.
probably heard of it. He's a
I've heard
former
of it. I
FBI
think
hostage
it's
negotiator.
in
And
my
yeah,
Kindle to read.
okay.
Again, I'm a collector of books. When I get to them, it's another thing. But yes,
Yeah.
Never Split the Difference. I've heard over and over that it's fantastic.
Yeah, I think that one is great because it's applicable no matter what you do for work or whatever your business may be. It's incredible, and it really helps to again aid someone in building confidence when they are in a situation that is typically very uncomfortable for most people, which
Mm,
is a negotiation of some type. You know, everybody at some point in their life has probably had that feeling of anxiety walking onto a car lot, you know, to buy a
right.
car, for example, something like that. And if you think about it, there are just so many things that you go through in life that are negotiations. It's almost like everything is a negotiation at some
Right.
point. So,
If you're in
yeah,
sales, you are
yeah,
in negotiations,
that is true.
technically.
That is true. Very much so. Yeah. So those are two of my favorites right there. I hope that's helpful to somebody out there.
I'm sure. Yes. Don't just leave them on your shelf, friends like me. Open them up and read them. Sure. Okay, so how can we help you as people are listening to this? I mean, they might be listening to it in 2023, they might be listening to it
Okay.
a couple of years after. It's going to have a long tail effect, but um, I know that you are in a growth phase of your business. So, what
Sure.
can we do to spread the word or to help you in your endeavors as well?
Well, it's very kind to ask that, and anybody who's willing to help me out, I can already say thank you, whatever in whatever form or shape it may take. But I would say the two main things I'm focused on right now is trying to build a following on social media, really just for the purpose of as the algorithms work on social media platforms, the more people you have liking and following whatever content you're posting out there, it's more likely that your actual target audience is going to see it. And so that's really what I'm trying to work on right now, because as we were talking about before we started the interview here, I've done it for many of my clients, but have not spent as much time doing it for myself. So making a concerted effort to make sure that we put more content out there. And I think the other thing too is that if anybody out there, if you know or interact with somebody who works in the insurance field and you hear them, talk about struggles that they're having, if it has anything to do with not getting the right training or not having any real direction with their business, or it's frustrating or difficult at any point, I'd love to just talk to them. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that I'm trying to sell them on our services or anything, but I genuinely enjoy having interactions with people in that industry to hear about what they're going through, because there's a very, very good chance, I can almost guarantee it, that I've been in that same situation. And over the course of my career within the insurance industry, I have dealt with bad leads. I've dealt with a lack of sales training. I've been very, very frustrated and almost quit many times. In my head, I probably quit every day for the first few years, but never stopped, and always wanted to find ways to get better at what I'm doing. And now that I've built that skill set and knowledge base, I really want to do everything I can to share that with other people in that same industry. So yeah, anybody that can connect me with more of those advisors and people in that industry, I'd love to talk to them. And if there's a way I can help them, great. And if not, I always try to leave every conversation with some degree of value and try to leave them in a better place than where I found them. So
Love that.
yeah.
Absolutely love that. And it helps you hone your skills too, to
Mhm.
keep up with what people are going through in today's day and age. Again, things are changing pretty quickly. And
Mhm.
again, friends, having somebody alongside of you, especially if you're in the insurance space, I'm sure it can be a very lonely category sometimes. Rates are
Yeah.
increasing across the country, and I
Yeah.
mean, the economy has wreaked havoc on that industry in particular. So to have
Yeah.
somebody alongside you who can walk arm in arm with you, really help you hone your skills, hone
Yeah.
in on what you love to do and why you love to do it. I
Yeah.
mean, it sounds like a win-win in my book for sure.
Well, I
So,
appreciate that, and I think that's the one of the main things that sets me apart from a lot of other marketing companies in general, especially with the folks that we focus on, is that I've been in that industry, I've worked, and I've been in
mm,
just about every terrible situation you could be in with
yeah,
that business, but never quit, never gave up, was determined to be successful with it, and now it's time for me to pay that forward in the best way I possibly can. So,
I love
yeah,
that. Yeah, from being tutored to teacher. So
yeah, right,
that's fantastic.
right.
I love it. I love it. Well, friends, how can we best get a hold of John? Let's ask him.
Ah, very
How
good.
should we reach out to you if we want to get in touch with you?
Well, for anybody watching this, if you're part of IKAGG, I have a page there, just like everybody else. I've tried to complete that and have it as, be as accessible as possible. But I'm on Facebook, just my name, North Sky Agency. Now we're on Facebook, on Instagram, and also LinkedIn. And then, of course, they can visit my website, the main website, www.northskyagency.com. Is probably the best way, and contact information is there. So there's many different ways to try to get a hold of me. So please, I welcome any and all contact, feedback, anything like that. Here to help. So
I love it. I love it. Well, John, it's been my pleasure to get to know you better, to hear about the amazingness that you are putting forth into this world. And no, you didn't let me down or disappoint me in the
ah,
least
well, good.
bit. I was super excited to learn more
Very
about
good.
what you're doing and how you're doing it. So I
Yeah.
hope you have a fantastic day, friend, and everybody else. I hope you have a great day as well. Until the next IKAG interview, go out and spread amazing into the world. Bye, everybody. Take care.